Ah, June, the best month of the year, where riots are destroying America, COVID is setting the world on fire worse than the ink spots, and currently, Towny-Exalted is fighting a long, long war. A war that was based on something so valuable that it brought together several large nations to fight against this troublemaker. This is the Nation's Abyss War, the Dirt War, and it was fought over 3 blocks of dirt.
Oh wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Okay, in all seriousness, the Nation's Abyss War at this point is a kinda stale joke. It's probably the most stupidest war we ever had, unless there was an even dumber war that I'm not even aware of yet. Now the war is still going on, and seems to be dying down with only Ancient, the Black Horsemen, and Empire being the only nations left fighting against Abyss. So with that being said, let's look into this war, try to understand the mess that it is, and why it happened. So to begin with, we need to understand the problems that started it. First is knowing who was involved in this. The one that everyone is piling on is Abyss. Abyss, at the time, was a relatively new nation that was formed as of June 5th, 2020, making it about 15 days old, and has since stood its ground during this whole conflict. The nations that were doing the piling were Ancient, Empire, South of Scott, Commonwealth, Georgia, and the Black Horsemen. Once again.
This society is a bunch of idiots.
Now how did it happen, exactly? Well, there is no clear definition, but here's a general synopsis. The war itself was started as an argument between AP the Griffin and Blood King Shun-SY on the terms of Shun-SY conducting bribery on Commonwealth towns. The accusations go further back before this argument, with Tom 826 accusing Blood King Shun-SY of bribing South of Scotland towns into Abyss. Now, to be fair on this point, Shun-SY does give some examples, such as the 50-cent head count to each mayor who joins Abyss, and the screenshot of Shun-SY telling others to use printer, even if it gets them banned, in which he will just unban them. Now, that is the only thing that might seem to go against the rules, as when asked to War of the Tom, he simply says that it is a dick move, and it is not directly answered within the rules. Aside from all this, the rest aren't really bribes and more like bonuses, such as giving people starter packs, giving some of the co-mayors of Hell ranks, and offering them to use mega cookers, in which are easy money sources. Now, the bribing point that is talked about became a constant factor and activator, especially when during an argument there was a bribe done that started the war. On June 20th, 2020, Ollie J of Leningrad, the new Leningrad, was bribed by Shun-SY with 3 dirt blocks to leave the Commonwealth to join Abyss.
Are you kidding me?
So from this, Griffin asked for the help from other nations to war with Abyss, in which South of Scott and Georgia decided, yes, let's fight them. After that, Griffin got the Black Horsemen to get involved and asked for them to call upon Empire and Ancient into this war, which thus the war soon began, and holy shit did it become a mess. Unlike the nation's New Dawn War, which was a relatively clean-cut war, this war was considerably disorganized on the offensive position. On June 23rd, 2020, South of Scott suffered a civil war in which Dern and Joey formed their own nation called Azalon, most likely named after their town, which is also the capital. Their reasoning for leaving was that they were tired of the toxicity and drama going on between the nations.
You serious?
Next, the Commonwealth was headed down the same path, only this time it was going through the trouble towards the end, as it was renamed multiple times and eventually left the war. However, it did get reinvested into the war on July 13, when the judge decided to piss Griffin off, and then exited the war once again once those matters were settled down. Empire didn't join until around July 3rd, and from all this it's been an unsuccessful takedown to squash Abyss, in which they just wipe it off as a misdemeanor. As of July 31st, there is still no success as Abyss has stayed strong against this bashing. The question at the end of all this mayhem is, why has this war not succeeded at a quicker pace? Well, it's kinda simple. When discussing wars, it's important to view how the economic and diplomatic situations hold out. So first we'll start with economic. Abyss is known for its cooking economy and a couple major shops along with their own grinders. This cooking economy allows the players to gain some form of cash that they can use to buy stuff at the major shops within the same nation, allowing for some form of market for these players to go to, so long as the shops do have good prices, or the players are relatively new so they don't know the other shops, which doesn't give them an incentive for them to leave. And finally, the grinders there allow for cheap cash and slaughtering of mobs, which recirculates through Abyss. Secondly, is how does the nation hold up in popularity? Well, Abyss seems to pride itself on being different than other nations, mainly due to the fact that they claim on fairness and putting the community before their own uses. They allow usage of their cookers, relatively set up positions with orders of ranks, and try to help the people run their stuff. Now they do bashing on all other nations, or at least with Empire, which is nothing new, on how the others are greedy, corrupt, power hungry, and a bunch of other negative traits. And with that tacked on points of bribery, it seems they've gained a disapproval from other nations. So with all this said, while the war is now more of an active fight, it can be viewed as a stalemate for everyone, or victory to Abyss depending on how you wish to view it. Commonwealth became Rebirth, and then morphed into Andromeda after its failed attack, collapse, and retreat. Salascot suffered from its civil war, from which Azalon budded off. Georgia was disbanded, and it later on became the Nation of America, and the rest of the nations are still at war with no end to peace, unless some peace contract is drawn up. But however, peace negotiations have failed anyway, because everyone is so stubborn, so will they ever make peace?
Or would you rather be a mule?
Or she'll bring a nice price. All right.
Thank you to everyone who contributed information to this video, and thanks to the community for all the wondrous towns and disasters they keep creating. Now this video is kind of behind time as there has been some recent changes and information coming in a little late. However, the next videos are going to be on the biography of Xenoblaze and the Towny Purge of August, or just... So do stay tuned for those, and do stop by T-Spawn Maldoria to view our museum and donate money to support these videos. We're constantly getting new things to talk about and new videos to make, and you can help by suggesting your ideas yourself because Exalted is always coming up with some of the best bullshit that even the US can't even create. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be seeing you all later in the next video.